Good morning, and good morning. I tell you, Laura has been doing her thing. I've been watching the news and praying for anyone that's in their path or has already been affected by such a wide and dangerous hurricane. And certainly happy for a change that it isn't coming this way. But, New Orleans has been hit heavily before with Katrina. And I think this was saying it was something like maybe the 15th year since that occurred. So we're just praying that God's going to also show up right behind that hurricane and clean up all the mess that it's making. So I just say good morning, praying for anyone that comes on and realizes that they have family over that way between, there, and I think they're talking about it going up further into the states that are connected to Louisiana. So we just wanna, and also Texas. I think Texas has been affected by it too. So good morning, just good morning. Yesterday, after smiling so much, I had to give my cheeks a rest, but they're back on stage again this morning. I'm glad to say that I had a happy day. I made it happy regardless of what was going on. And yesterday once again was my busy. And sometimes in the midst of our busy, we get frustrated. We don't know how to say that we had enough. We don't know how to go there. And so we just have a tendency to just keep adding on and adding on and adding on. So today I thought I would deal with something so simple as to just say no. And so many of us struggle with no because no, for some reason, we think in the middle of no that people are evaluating us because we've downgraded, maybe the importance of the relationship or of the project or of whatever it is that we're working on. It's just all of a sudden it becomes an evaluative thing. And sometimes we have to be put in charge of evaluating ourselves and understanding what our busy is. And sometimes our busy is overwhelming busy. And I remember telling you on Monday, that's how I felt on Monday. I was just overwhelmed by the time Tuesday came. I was trying to think, was the week over yet? No, it wasn't over yet. That's why I had to come up with my smiles by Wednesday because so much was going on. Good morning, my buddy Juanita, my middle of the night friend Juanita, like I am. But I just realized that sometimes we have to take a break from things. We have to be able to say no. And I find that I know I'm of the generation, and if you can put it in the link here. I mean, in the thread here. If you're of the generation where you believe that you always got to have something to do, that you are a worker, that you just look at what is important to be looked at, to be dealt with, and to add to your plate, and just looking at and just knowing that Juanita's here. Juanita's like me. Every day we got something to do, someplace to go, and even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, we deal with it through Zoom and go to meetings and all these things that ostensibly say that we know we are obligated. But today's discussion is, when can you and will you say no? And no is extremely difficult for a lot of people. And I'm going to say something this morning. I love me some Bill Sheffield. That is my buddy. He brought me into the Rotary, and I'm really enjoying it. But yesterday we had a conversation, and he needed me to do something. But I just realized when I looked at my plate, when I looked at all the things that I had already committed to, what was being requested by of him from him of me, I couldn't do it. And sometimes we just feel bad when we can't do something. But we have to understand that no sometimes is going to give us some resolve, going to give us some free head space, some free heart space, just because we just have to own up to the fact that we're only one. We're one, and we're not two, five, or 10, even though we act like we're two, five, and 10, because we're going to act like we're multiple people that get a lot of stuff done. And sometimes our our resources are low, or our energy is low, our time is low. All of those things pretty much say that there might be something else that's operating where no becomes more correct for us to say than to take it on and not do a great job at it, or certainly be disappointed in what we do, or what we can put towards whatever is requested or desired. So anyway, that's our discussion this morning. I'm going to ask you this question. Are you stuck? Periodically, we're all going to get stuck. We're going to get stuck on every single thing, including whether or not you should say no. It's just going to come up. It's going to appear. It's going to, as they say, rear its ugly head, or rear its positive head. But the ugliness becomes if you can't respond in a positive way and say, yes, that sounds like I can do that. Sometimes that's just not the way it works. It just isn't. So anyway, I found a poem this morning. Now, the ending of the poem, I'm going to give you a proviso, just a little precursor here. I didn't write it, even though it applies to what they say at the end. It also applies to others, and I'll qualify it when I get down there, because it's a real short poem, and it says, saying no and loving it. And not everybody can say no and love it. Most of the time, people are very uncomfortable when they say no. But anyway, saying no and loving it is by Sue Cat, whoever Sue Cat is. Hello, Sue Cat. Good morning. Oh, let's see. Yes, multitasking has you up late helping others, but afraid to say no. But we have to see the reality from another angle. All right now. You are so right. That's right. We do. We have to look at it. We have to look at it. Is it compromising our health? Is it compromising our sense of purpose, our sense of order, our sense of completing anything? Because sometimes we have so many things, we don't get nothing done. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. But anyway, let me read what Sue Cat wrote. She said, once upon a time, I couldn't say no. I mostly didn't say yes either. Just went along with others and seethed inside. Good morning. I seethed inside, boiling in frustration. Now I say no or yes as my mood dictates. Obviously, wisdom comes with age. On the other hand, it could be that I've simply become a grumpy old woman, or a grumpy old whomever, a man, a child, just grumpy. Just like a child will tell you no. It's easy for them. It's just, good morning, Sharon. It's just difficult for us to say no, because we've come to know people where we love them, and so we based our saying no on the fact that we love them, and therefore we should always be able to say yes. But sometimes we have to go to the other side and say no. That's not possible. I can't add it to my plate right now. I can't. So anyway, when I break the word no down, no, it says not any. Used to give, you give a negative. It's not at all. Not going to do it. The answer or decision is no. And it says, therefore, it is by no means am I going to do that. Never will. Nay, no way, naw, nay, 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 nay. No. All of that says no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But it's very difficult for us to get there. Sometimes we can use another word for it, and maybe it'll ease the difficulty of people saying, she said she can't do this for me. He said he won't help me. But sometimes when people tell you no, they're telling you the truth, because to add anything else on what they already have, assigned themselves to, certainly puts them in a bad light. Okay, it may put them in a bad light for you too, temporarily. Okay, however, let's be honest. If you can't do something, say so. Okay, be honest about it. Say your no, and take the hit on the chin, take the black eye. It's temporary. It's temporary. The black eye will get better. Okay, the bump on the chin, straighten it out. All will be fine. Eventually, you'll be just good. You'll be good. But anyway, so when I break the word down of no, it starts with non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. And usually that's a term you use when you're dealing with something legally. But guess what? It also makes sense when you're talking about your time, you're talking about your responsibilities, you're talking about basically things that you've committed to, okay? And because you've done all of that, it is non-negotiable. Therefore, it can't be done. So it says not open to discussion or modification. Meaning if I already told you no, please don't come back and make me feel bad about my saying no. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, T. And sometimes people will do that to you. You say no to them, they keep coming back. Well, but listen, can you reconsider? Can you reconsider? I really need your help. I really need you to do something for me, you know. And come on, do it for me now, please. Please. Please, please. You know, they beg you. Please, please, please. Okay, you hear that song in your head. Please, 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 please. Okay, okay. So we give in. But anyway, if we're really standing on it being a non-negotiable thing, then that means it's a basic no. N-O. Oh, can't do it. Okay? Or it's just your natural way. Look, I got too much going on, can't do it. Non-transferable. I can't even give it. You can't give it to me because I'm telling you I can't do it. So you can't give it to me. So therefore, you got to give it to somebody else. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for asking, but I can't do it. That means it's non-transferable. Then it says it's sacrosanct. 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 Sacrosanct means no. Can't get involved in it. It's not my thing. Wish I could. Can't do it. Okay? It says it's unassailable, meaning unassailable. Can't do it. Okay? It doesn't fly by me well. I don't have enough time. And sometimes we do have to explain why we say no. And then there's some people, have you met some people when they say no and they give you that look? You know, don't ask again. Come on now. Tell the truth. I've seen people like that. In fact, you were scared to ask in the first place. But you know you'd be chiseled down if you didn't ask, because then they'd say, well, maybe they would have done it. Sometimes you already know the answer and we still may ask, will you? And then we sit back, stand back, because we're ready for the answer to be no. Sometimes that's the way people do. And it says it's entailed. You know, something that's entailed. I mean, it's already in the making. You know, it is. It is what it is. Can't change it. I'm not trying to change it. You know, I've made a decision. I'm going to stand on it. And sometimes when we make decisions that involve no, unless it's something that has us in danger, something that, has just exhausted us to the point where we can't do it anymore, we'll bow out easily that way. But if we're still fine in terms of our health and our strength and our wiseness, we want to beat ourselves up for the fact that we had to tell somebody no. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. So we really have to talk about, well, if I say no, what is it that I'm saying no for? That's because you're obligated. That would be the O. Obligation means that you've already have enough on your plate. There's nothing else that can be added to what you've already put before yourself. Okay? And for you to feel guilty, that's a you thing. Because people can't make you feel guilty. They may say things that may plant the seed, but only you can deal with the feeling. Okay? And if you don't feel guilty about it, then you walk away. If you feel guilty about it, you may want to speak on it. Hey, look, don't try to make me feel guilty, because there's a lot of stuff that I've done in the past. It's just that I can't do this. I can't do this. And I'm okay with that. So anyway, the next thing it says, to bind or compel, especially legal or morally. So really, if you're dealing with most things, it's going to be on your moral level, on your personal level. You've just made a decision that I can't do it. Can't do it. I would love to do it, but I just can't. you know. I have too much. And so to be obligated talks about the fact that you're already tied up with stuff. You're already bound. You're already expected to be obliged. You are already obliged with things. You've already given your compelling reason to do something else. You've committed to something. You're constrained. You're restrained. Because I think sometimes when we really looking at what we have on our plate, we're restrained from adding more things. The plate is full. You got your protein, you have your vegetables, and you have your starch. Now, the dessert may be where they're trying to get you at. Okay, and because a lot of us fall with dessert, that may be what's ushered in. In fact, we may eat that first. Come on now. Y'all know sometimes you eat dessert first, never get around to the main course, only because we've already decided, or we help somebody help us decide that we're not as obligated as we should have been. We're just not. Good morning. So anyway, when we look at to say no is troublesome for some people. We can't do it easily. And I don't know why no has become such one of those words that we really hate to deal with. If you know why you hate to say no, write it in the thread. I know I hate to say no's because I feel like people called on me to do something and I should be able to answer the call. Okay? People expected me to help them work on something, so I should be there to work on that with them. Those are the kind of things that I've always done. And I tell you, since pandemic, I've had so many calls to do so many things. And the only thing that saved me initially when I started in this quarantine, or I say simulated quarantine, I really was convicted when I felt that saying no had hurt people, because they needed me, to write something or read something or do it. And then as time went on and I'm doing my sessions with you all, I said, you know what? These sessions just aren't for you, not to look back. They're for me too. For me too, because sometimes looking back just holds us back. We stay fixated on what we've always done. But how about what we can do going forward? What we look forward to and not what we're looking back on. And sometimes that's very troublesome for us because we did good for people. We did really good. But it doesn't mean that we're doing good for ourselves. I think, I take the example of Mozart. And everybody probably knows by now, I used to love music in all forms, no matter what, including classical, to the point where, I started school as a undergraduate school as a music major, so it was important for me to know certain stuff. But I remember reading all about Mozart, and Mozart had it on him. It was all in his head in terms of his ability, and everybody was pulling on him, everybody, But then he couldn't just be good, he had to be the best, because everybody knew of his superiority. Everybody knew of his level of genius. So when they called on him, they expected him to be at his highest level. So they said when he, and I think he died of all of maybe 32, 34 years old, a young man by today's standards, a young man. But his father outlived him, and his wife and all the other things that he believed in. They stayed, but he left. And he left under the premises that he had committed, he had obligated himself to doing all of these, concertos and masses and all these things that were highly orchestrated with not just, 15 instruments. They said he was looking at, 600 musicians and 200 musicians and 100 musicians. Can you imagine doing all of that orchestration? And they said he would do it for every single part that was being played. So it might be that he had, 30 violinists, Can you imagine the sound? But it killed him because he never finished all the work he had committed to. And so sometimes we even have to look at the realization of what is our worth if we've committed to things that we really can't complete, and we end up where our demise is in our yes. It's not in the fact that we said no. If we had just been able to say no, maybe we would have more time to rest, more time to come to grips to what was already set before us. But to keep adding and adding and adding to our plate just puts us in a position of trouble. And so all I try to do with people is just say, good morning, Cassandra. I try, and Maurice, I'm going to pull y'all up. I don't know. For some reason, they just stopped working. Hi, Sylvia. We just have to realize the importance of why no is a negative that turns into a positive. It's negative towards what the response was. It's negative to us doing what was requested of us. But it becomes a positive when it talks about we keep our own strength, our resilience, our direction, our peace, our rest, our understanding of who we are. And a lot of times we don't get that because we've given it away. So all day long we're turning. We're turning from one thing to another thing. And at the end of the day, we fall into bed. And instead of just having a peaceful walk, from the shower to the pajamas to the good night. Okay? But no, we probably reading something while we still, on our way to trying to get a quick nap. And because we're troubled, our bodies don't sleep well when we're troubled. So we wake up because the angst is that we said yes when we should have said no. So anyway, I had a short word today only because I thought the message itself is long, because it really speaks to what you need to do, what I need to do for myself, and you need to do for yourselves when looking at, just this whole idea of being able to say no. It's a tough thing to do because people just want you to help them, and you want to help. So there's the issue right there. So here's my questions for today. First question, hope you have a pen, some paper, or a pencil and paper, and I hope you would share this. I forgot to ask you all this week because I was so excited about whatever I was doing if you would share it. But if you would share it, that would be certainly wonderful. But here's the first question. Do you struggle with saying no? Be honest. Do you struggle? Write in the thread. No one's interested in trying to track you down about your no or your yeses. But some people have trouble with it. I know I've had trouble with it. I've done better now than I used to. I used to be, up all day and all night. And even now I have some friends that tease me and tell me I need to go sit my old, I ain't going to tell you the other word, down. And, one of these days I'm going to do it. But I'm born of the generation. I was born of the generation that says your work is still ahead of you. You still have something to do. And because I know that I'm coming from a family with longevity, I'm going to try to get there. Let me leave here at 104. No telling what I'll be saying, but I certainly will be probably praising the man upstairs. Lord, yes, I'm going to be praising him. And I'm probably going to be saying no to a lot of things, including teeth in my mouth and what food I eat and, putting on diapers. I'm just telling that's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be that by there. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Arthur. I'm just telling you, that's the way it's going to be. So my next question is, what happens to you if you tell someone no? And do you feel guilty? When you've told somebody no, do you feel guilty? Yes, I still do. But it's not as high. It doesn't rise up in me like it used to. So I'm managing to acknowledge it and not deal with anxiety or anything anymore. I don't go there. It's like it is what it is. There's only one of me. I have enough things already done. Okay, sometimes that's me too. That's me too, Sharon. Sometimes I have to deal that way, and sometimes I'm okay with not feeling guilty and because people expect you to always say yes. You know that, right? They do. They do. They expect you to always say yes. And number 3, is your no really no? Is your no really no? Write that down. Write it down. In fact, put it in there. Put it in the thread. Is your no really no? Have you gone back and said, well, feeling kind of beat up about that. I'm going to help you, you know. And then sometimes you can offer the help, but then you have to qualify it. You have to put some anchors on it. How much you can do, how much you can't do. If you know you can only put an hour on it, I can only give you an hour. If you say that I can, I can do the phone call, but I can't. I'm not going to be able to sit in on the Zoom. That's good. Sharon Jones, okay, in the past. And that's true, in the past. That's why I'm getting people to understand that in the past, we've done a lot of things in our past. But now we've had time. I truly believe that this pandemic has come about for us to do some serious soul searching, some serious alone time, some serious, decision making, because it's been difficult in our past. Our past has always been fast and moving and obligated, and people and people and people and kids and jobs and projects and everything. So if everything is slowed down to the point where not much is rolling, okay, you can get a handle on who you are and what you want to do, what is possible to do, and then, of course, at this decision level, what you will do. So therefore, when you say no, there's less guilt. There's less guilt. And the last question is, if you're over obligated, do you still say yes? I know that there's some of y'all out there, you're over obligated and you still say yes. Now, up until probably last week when I started this new position, I was pretty good about still saying yes to some things. Not everything, because I still said no. But as of the new position, since I told you it's like learning a new language, the government makes you go to school, okay? Even if they don't practice all of that stuff, they make you go to school. Okay, Sharon says in the past and mostly, okay. Yeah, sometimes it says if you are obligated, you'll still say yes. Say, okay, I'm gonna try to get it in. I'm gonna try to get it in. And those are the questions. Those are the questions. But it all boils down to you. I know for myself, this has helped me because I'm asking myself the same questions I pose to you all. How do I get out of feeling bad about saying no? How do I deal with my struggle of what can become non-negotiable? And how do I get out of making myself understand that when I've said no, that I stay on no, because sometimes people will come back at you and they want to negotiate it again. They want to, well, please, you're the only one. And sometimes we might let ego, we might let our own self-impression of importance, all of it get in the way. But on the bottom line, it just adds more stress to your life, adds more struggle, adds more tension, it's too much. It's too much. So anyway, those are our questions for today. I will not be here tomorrow at 9. I'm going to go to that. Remember last week I told you that I lost my friend, 92 years young, Mrs. Evelyn Murray, and so I'm going to pay tribute. And because it is a graveside funeral, there's limited people who will come. But I am one of her, children from another mother. And so I'm going to go and pay my tribute and also do a solo for her as she is celebrated, the life that she led. And I was looking in my refrigerator. I'm going to give you this little quick thing. I was looking in my refrigerator. Ms. Murray used to always make these wonderful sweet potato pies and pralines. Well, I guess I had given the sweet potato pies away or something, but because every time she made them, she said, Sandra, I have a sweet, or no, it was either Sandra. She chose which name she's gonna give me, Sandra, or it was Dr. Sandy. Dr. Sandy, I have a pie for you and one for your daughter. I said, okay, yes, ma'am. So I would go get them and I'd put them in the freezer. Well, for some reason, I must have given my last pie away to somebody. If you all got my pie, no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Ms. Murray made the best sweet potato pies, and so I will certainly remember her for that, but also just for her sincere friendship and collecting on me like I was her child. So I just want to say I will see you on Monday with another topic that I hope is hot. I hope it inspires. I hope it's useful for you to do something about your forward and not your past. Certainly analyze your past, but move forward. Move out on whatever it is that excites you, enlightens you, encourages you, certainly acknowledges you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I want you to have a great, hi, sunshine. Have a great, great weekend. Just enjoy yourself. Good. Just enjoy yourself. What an amazing day. Have an amazing day. Oh, and continue to smile. Give somebody a smile that say, look, I'm smiling. Can you see my cheeks are up here? I'm smiling right now. Give them a smile. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Please be safe. Please use your mask, gloves if necessary. Just do you. Say no. Love you. See you Monday. Bye-bye.